You care deeply about your most important goals. You think about them every single day, and
You even take time to plan out the steps required to move forward, outlining every necessary milestone. So, why, when the moment comes to begin, do you still delay the inevitable action? Why do you find yourself scrolling endlessly instead of starting that critical project? Here is the truth about procrastination that most people never fully understand. It is not laziness, but a powerful emotional protection mechanism.
In this video, we will explain exactly why procrastination happens, how your brain creates this destructive loop, and how to break it using a simple, realistic, three-step system.
Section 1. The Procrastination Myth.
Most common self-help advice on this subject focuses on increasing force, telling you to be disciplined or push harder. This approach fails consistently because procrastination is fundamentally emotional, not a failure of logic or willpower. Your ancient brain is fundamentally wired to seek immediate comfort and to avoid any potential discomfort or perceived threat. Any task that feels uncertain, mentally difficult, or requires a sustained slow effort is instinctively registered as a threat. When facing a mentally heavy task, your brain delays the action to quickly reduce the immediate surge of stress you feel. Escaping into quick activities like scrolling or checking social media provides rapid, temporary relief from that internal friction.
this immediate relief reward trains your brain to repeat the escape behavior. Delaying the task feels instantaneously safe, while starting the action feels inherently risky.
This training is how the habit gets reinforced and why the cycle is so difficult to interrupt. Section 2. How the procrastination loop forms. Step 1. You initially consider an important or high-stakes task that must be completed soon. Step 2. The size or scope of the task feels overwhelmingly large, ambiguous, or extremely unclear. Step 3. Your brain instantly creates intense discomfort and anxiety about the impending difficulty. Step 4. To stop this negative feeling, you immediately escape into an easy, low-effort alternative activity. Step 5. You feel temporary but immediate relief from the pressure and initial stress. Step 6. This relief is quickly followed by powerful feelings of guilt, shame, and self-criticism. Step 7. As a result, the task feels exponentially heavier and more threatening the next time you approach it. This vicious loop repeats itself daily, reinforcing the escape route every single time. The core problem is not the task itself, but the overwhelming emotional weight attached to the moment of starting. Section 3. Why motivation can't fix this. Motivation is simply a form of emotional energy, and by its very nature, it naturally rises and falls unpredictably. Procrastination almost always dominates your behavior on days when your energy and motivation levels are unavoidably low. Since low energy days are a guaranteed part of the human experience, we cannot rely on motivation alone. If your productivity system only works when you are feeling perfectly motivated, then it is not a reliable system at all. It's merely a gamble. High-performing individuals do not rely on a consistent mood. They design their environment to radically reduce emotional resistance. Section 4. The real solution. Reduce resistance. To effectively defeat procrastination, you absolutely do not need to apply more internal pressure or discipline. What you actually need is a system designed to create significantly less friction against the act of starting. Here is the core three-step resistance reduction system that sidesteps your brain's protective panic response. Step 1. Define an incredibly tiny starting point for the necessary task. Never allow yourself to start with the full, intimidating task in your mind or on your list. Instead, isolate a starting action so small and simple that your brain physically cannot register it as a threat. This could be simply opening the textbook, solving only one single math problem, or writing just one complete sentence. Step 2. Immediately and aggressively remove all possible escape routes from your immediate environment. If distractions like your phone or extra tabs are nearby, your brain will inevitably choose them for relief. Put your phone out of sight, close every unnecessary browser tab,
and completely change your physical working environment.
Step 3. Time box your initial effort to an extremely limited period. Tell your brain that it only needs to focus for precisely 10 minutes, or perhaps even less. Emphasize that I am not committing to completing the task forever, but only to this brief, small block of time. Action, even minimal action, reduces fear much faster than trying to overthink or plan ever will.
Section 5. What happens when you apply this? When you begin to implement these small starting steps, the feeling might be initially uncomfortable, which is perfectly normal. But consistently applying this system for just a few days yields powerful, observable results.
The emotional difficulty of starting a hard task instantly begins to shrink, and starting becomes progressively easier. The subsequent feelings of guilt and shame rapidly reduce because you are maintaining forward motion. Your ability to sustain focus on difficult tasks will gradually last longer and longer. Crucially, confidence does not need to be built beforehand. It naturally builds from the evidence of prior action. You do not need to feel brave before you act. You must act first, and the feeling of bravery will reliably follow.
Section 6. Closing message.
Remember that procrastination is not a moral character flaw that defines you as lazy or bad. It is a nervous system response triggered by perceived threats and emotional discomfort. Your goal is simple. Reduce the emotional resistance. Shrink the necessary size of the starting action and rigorously remove all viable escape routes. Do this repeatedly, and consistent action will inevitably return, allowing unstoppable